Good day, and welcome to another episode of Drew's Book Reviews. It's about halfway through the year, and I thought I'd take some time out on this beautiful, awesome rooftop patio I've got here to tell you a little bit about some of my favorite reads so far here in 2023. So stay tuned, that is coming right up here on Drew's Book Reviews. Alright. Thank you so much for joining me here on Drew's Book Reviews. We're going to talk about some of my favorite reads of 2023. 2023 has been a crazy year for me and my family. There's been some trials and struggles, and I don't know about you, but just being able to sit down and read a good book could be so therapeutic for me and just help me release all the stress and anxiety that I've been dealing with over the past year and just kind of help me relax. So that's been really good. Now, I haven't got anywhere close to reading the number of books I had actually wanted to at this point in the year. It's been just a crazy year, but I'm still getting some good reading in. I'll throw up my Goodreads challenge so far and how far I've read somewhere on the screen. I don't even remember the exact number. It's going to be up here on the screen somewhere, so there you go. Anyway, and of course, as always, like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to check me out on my socials down below. I'm actually using the Threads app now. So I'll try to remember to link that down below as well. And yeah, let's talk about what I've read as far as my favorite reads of 2023 are so far this year in 2023. Now stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm saving one for the end that I want to know, were you surprised by it that it made this list? If you know this channel, you're probably not going to be surprised. But let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about my favorite reads so far here in 2023. First up, I'm going to have to go with the Codex Alera, Book 3. This is Cursor's Fury, Book 3 of the Codex Alera. This seems to be where the series is really starting to pick up and get interesting and good and more adventurous, more battles, more furies going on, all kinds of things, and Tavi, our main character, starts to develop more, and this is really where the action picks up in this series, and so far I am absolutely loving how this is really picking up. Up to this point, I've kind of thought, well, the Codex Alera ain't bad, it's okay, but now that we've got Jim Butcher here, well, not now that we got Jim Butcher wrote the series from the start, of course, but this seems to be where it's really picking up. I love the cover on this with the lines made out of the water furies here. That was just so much fun. War is happening, things are getting intense, and I'm really looking forward to seeing. I'm staying intentionally vague because I don't want to give spoilers away for anybody who hasn't read the series yet, but definitely this is where the series is picked up. This is one of the books that has definitely made my favorite reads so far in 2023. So that's Jim Butcher's Cursor's Fury, and I'm just really excited for where the rest of this series is going. It's going to be awesome, I have no doubt about that. One of the other books that I've read this year that made my list of favorite reads of 2023. Now this was just wow, mind blown. I've been wanting to get into more science fiction, and I'd heard so much about this series and have been hyped big time on BookTube all throughout last year, and I have to say that I am really happy I got into it because wow, mind blown, just amazing. And that is Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio. Just wow, this is a space opera setting, it's far distant future sci-fi. The narrative and the backstory, you know the end from the beginning, but the story is not about the end, it's about how did we get there, how did we become the Sun Eater. Now that's not a spoiler because, like I said, you know the end from the beginning with this series, so that's no way a spoiler. But Empire of Silence, just wow, just amazing. I absolutely loved this book, and I cannot wait to read the rest of the book. Now, I am told that it just gets better from here. And if it gets better than this, boy, am I in for a treat. I've got the other two books in this trilogy on my to-be-read pile, and I really look forward to getting to them. Just wow. Book 1 of the Sun Eater. Can't wait to get into the rest. Just amazing. I loved everything about the characters, the action, the story behind the character, why he did what he did, how he got to where he is, the life he led from being super uber crazy rich household to the struggles of living poor and on the street to just wow, everything is just amazing. I love this story. I'm gushing about it because I love it so much. Just wow. Absolutely love it. I wish I had more time to do more in-depth reviews, but time seems to be short these days for me. But in any case, up next on one of my favorite reads so far this year is The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. So this is the second book in the Poppy War trilogy. I do have the third book, The Burning God, I believe, still on my to-be-read list. So I'm pretty sure it's on my to-be-read list. I know it's on my shelf. I remember reading this one this year, and I really enjoyed it. I love this Asian-inspired fantasy warrior type stuff going on with this, and I just really enjoyed it. I don't know what else to say other than I love this book. I'm enjoying it. The action, the adventure, the characters, everything about this was just so good, and I loved it. What can I say? I loved it. It's a great book. Thoroughly enjoyable. So one of the other books that I really enjoyed this year so far, and I'm so glad I picked this up, especially when I first heard about it, was fan fiction. This is a memoir inspired by true events written by Brent Spiner. So it's kind of like fiction, but not fiction. It's more like a fictional tale inspired by true events, kind of a memoir. It's just a crazy, crazy book. So if you don't know who Brent Spiner is, I don't know where you've been, but he's Commander Data on Star Trek. And I've mentioned this before, I'm a Trekkie, I love Star Trek, and I love Commander Data's characters. So when I found out that Brent Spiner wrote a book and called it fan fiction, and it's a memoir inspired by true events of his experiences being an actor on Star Trek in the late 80s and early 90s, I had to pick this up. And let me tell you, it is a riot. Brent Spiner is hilarious. We got everything from, and I kid you not, severed pig testicles and penises in a box being shipped to him. Like, what the like, seriously, I don't know what's up with that, but it was funny. He's being stalked. There's an insane crazy person after him. He doesn't know what to think about this, but he's just crazy, being stalked, terrified for his life, and his crew and his cast help him figure this out as they work together to solve the mystery of who this insane crazy person is that's stalking him. And it's all hilarious read. It's a serious subject about what it's like to be a celebrity in Hollywood sometimes, absolutely, but it's presented in such a humorous, fun, and entertaining way. I would definitely recommend this book, even if you were not a Trekkie, because it's not about Trek. It's about the life of a celebrity in Hollywood and what it could be like for them sometimes, and it's funny. Check it out. It's funny. That's all I can say. Worth the read. Now, the last book that made my list of favorite reads of 2023 so far, at the halfway point of the year, and we'll see if any of these books keep the top. We'll see how the second half of the year goes, but let me know if you're surprised by this, because you really shouldn't be if you know anything at all about my channel. Obviously, so far, that's right, Tress of the Emerald Sea. I really enjoyed this book. I loved all the Cosmere connections that Sanderson put into this, and I absolutely love my edition of Tress of the Emerald Sea, this premium hardcover edition that has just some really awesome artwork in it as well. And it's just such a nice book in terms of its quality, in terms of the artwork that we find within the book as well. Overall, it's just a beautiful edition of Tress of the Emerald Sea, and the story is pretty fun as well. As it's been mentioned, it's kind of a Princess Bride inspired type story, except that instead of Princess Buttercup, instead it's Princess Buttercup that basically becomes the pirate to rescue her guy, right? So it's kind of a Princess Bride inspired story. It is based in the Cosmere, and it is overall still a wonderful, wonderful read, an enjoyable read. It's a fun read. I would definitely describe it more as a YA, but for sure this made one of my favorite reads of 2023 so far. So definitely worthwhile checking it out. I know this is now published traditionally as well, so if you haven't already picked it up, you could probably get it off Amazon or your local favorite book retailer. Overall, I'm very happy with the quality of the physical book that I got, and I'm absolutely happy and love this story overall. Definitely one of my favorite reads so far of 2023. So briefly, before we wrap up here, I just want to talk a little bit about my three most disappointing reads, or rather 3 reads that really were pretty disappointing to me this year. So far, I had high hopes for these and high expectations that I would enjoy them, and I just didn't. Not nearly as much as I had hoped that I would anyway. So let's talk about that. So the first one, I think this is actually one of the books I'm pretty sure I got rid of on my unhaul before my move, mainly because I can't find it anywhere on my shelves now, so I'm assuming I must have unhauled, and I unhauled a lot, so I don't remember everything that I unhauled. But anyway, that was Cixin Liu, I think I'm pronouncing that right, The Three-Body Problem. So this is a book that I had high hopes for. I'd heard a lot of praise about this book and about the series in general and about how great it was and about all the big sci-fi ideas behind it, but it honestly just fell flat for me. I wasn't that into it. I didn't enjoy it all that much. And so as far as the series that this is in goes, it's definitely a did not finish. And I don't intend to pick up the rest of these books. Probably not any Cixin Liu at all, honestly. I just didn't enjoy it. Three-Body Problem was very technical in the writing. I would describe it as very technical. Half the book were essays on certain physics problems and not really storied at all. Which, as much as I love reading physics, I expect that kind of thing when I pick up a non-fiction physics book, not a fictional science fiction story. And so the characters weren't that great, and it just great big ideas, but you could have taken half the book out and I feel like it wouldn't have made any difference to the plot, the story, or anything like that. Some interesting insight into the culture, the historical Chinese culture for sure, but generally it just really fell flat. It wasn't that great for me. The next book on my list for disappointing reads of 2023 honestly was Terry Goodkind's Pillars of Creation. Now, I've got to be honest, this series as a whole, I'm really finding I don't love it as much as I used to. I'm going to finish my reread of it because I still really want to finish my reread of it, but I found particularly the Pillars of Creation definitely for me felt the worst of this series so far and could have just been a short story. I didn't really like it that much. I didn't enjoy it that much. It felt more like a side quest. The main characters in the series were pretty much non-existent in this story as a whole, and just honestly, I didn't like this book. I used to. Clearly, my tastes have changed, and when I'm done my reread of Sword of Truth, I have a feeling I just might end up unhauling a lot of the Sword of Truth books because I'm just not enjoying the series as much as I used to. Clearly. And then the last book on this list of disappointing reads, and this might come as a surprise to some, I don't know, maybe, but I'm told the series gets much better, but Malice by John Gwynne. Don't get me wrong, it's not that I didn't like this book. I did enjoy it overall, but with all the hype about this series, I just felt like I was expecting so much more out of this book than I got. And maybe that's my fault given into the hype, I don't know, but I really just felt like it could have been so much better there, or it should have been better than I was honestly expecting it to be. Characters didn't really do it for me. Really felt more like a setup than a lot of plot progression in general. Just overall, it didn't work for me the way I had wanted it to, and I didn't feel as connected to the story as I wanted to when I was reading it. I'm hoping the rest of the series gets better because I have high hopes for the series as a whole, and I'm told it gets better. So those are my most disappointing reads of this year so far. As always, let me know what you think down below. Check it out. Let me know what you think about some of your favorite reads this year. Were any of the books on these lists, whether disappointing or whether on anything else, my favorite reads of this year? Let me know down below what you thought. Let me know what you think about this list. I would love to hear from you. As always, check out my social links down below. You can join me over on Discord. You can join me over on Bookstagram. I'm now on Threads. I would love to hear from you, whatever your thoughts on this, or even just tell me what some of your favorite reads, or maybe some of your most disappointing reads of the year are. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I do look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, until next time, keep on reading. Bye!